In this video, we're going to dig a bit deeper into notifications using Backendless. Now, the previous application that we did in the previous video basically left us here where we register the new device. The device is registered successfully. We send a new push notification, and as soon as you get that toast there, your notification should come up at the top. And you can see it's that normal Android guy there. And it says new product available, the all new memory stick. So if you look at your coding, I've just changed that part a bit. So from the previous video, we send out something else here. But the push notification that I want to look at now will be something like this. We set the message to be new product on the market, and then we separate some more data using a hash there. And we'll use the string tokenizer class or the split method of the string class later to basically get all these different tokens. That's part of this message. And then there was the title, new product available, and the content text, the all new memory stick. So if you look at the notification now, you can see the title there, new product available, and you can see the content text, the all new memory stick. And whether I touch on that specific notification or not and try to drag it, nothing else is showing. And then why do we need to send this message? So there's a way to get this message that we've sent, and that's what we're going to have a look at in this video. So if I click on this notification now, it takes me directly back to the main activity or the main screen that launches for your specific application. So we'll also have a look at how can we change that. Okay, so this is basically when we send a new push notification, this is the message that we sent, but up until now we cannot see anything. So what we need to do now is to go and create our own broadcast receiver for receiving Backendless notifications. So in order to do that, we're going to create first a service. So we're going to say new Java class, and we're going to call this class, well, you can call it whatever you like. I'm going to call it Backendless custom receiver, and say okay. Now this class that you want to do your own thing in must basically extends Backendless, and you need to go to Backendless push service. So this is a service that we're going to have a look at, and this service runs as part of the Backendless libraries. And now the one method that we must have here is the onMessage method. So you're going to go to code override methods and search for the onMessage method. And this method will basically then run as soon as a new notification has come through. So we'll change that now in the manifest to basically link it, because if you look at your manifest, you'll see that the receiver is currently com.backendless.push.backendless broadcast receiver, which is a fixed class that's handled that default values for us, as well as this service, which is the Backendless push service. So basically what we're doing now is we're creating a new service there. So we're overriding this Backendless push service. You can see that we are inheriting from Backendless push service, and then we can implement our own onMessage here. So you can see as part of this onMessage, we get the context and we get an intent that was passed through. So whenever you send these data, the message as well as these headers for the ticket text, the content title, and the content text, all of those information will be passed through using this intent. So we'll get back to the return statement there, but for now, let's see what we can get from this intent. So from this intent then, let's just say string ticket text. If you want to use that ticket text, so it's going to be intent.getStringExtra, and the name that you're going to use there will be part of this publish options, and then from that class there's some constants there that was created there, and the one for this one that we're going to use is Android ticket text tag, and that will basically just calling this intent.getStringExtra with the Android ticket text tag there will retrieve whatever we set there as the ticket text. So it will retrieve new product. So now let's just do the rest also. So for the next one, it was the content title. The content title also will be intent.getStringExtra, and it's going to be publish options .android content title tag. And then we're going to have another one there, and that's going to be the content text. It's also getStringExtra, also publish options, and then this one will be the content text tag. Okay, so now after these three lines, we've got the ticker text, we've got the content title, and we've got the content text. So basically, those three headers that we sent through when pushing through this message through the channel called products there. Okay, so the next one then that we can try and get there is the message itself, because here as part of these headers we also send through a message there, and there's the message as the second argument. Okay, so the message then, how will we get the message? So I'm going to say string message from notification equals, and now to get the message from the notification, you're going to say intent.get string extra, and the name there that you're going to indicate is message, and that message will be the message that was sent through, and that will be this whole string there that we declared or that we created. So that whole string will then be in message from notification. So now I'm going to do something else. I don't know if you know about the string tokenizer class. You should, if you're okay with Java. So there's a string tokenizer class, but there's also a split method that comes with strings. So I'm basically going to say message from notification dot split, and by calling this split method now and indicating the hash is the delimiter, the one thing that separates my data. So if I go back to what we've sent here, we sent this message, there's data, then there's a hash, then there's data again, then there's a hash, then there's data again, and then there's a hash and data again. So this hash is the one thing that separates my data, which we call tokens. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 tokens, and all 4 tokens are separated by the hash. So by saying string tokens, you can see it's an array, a string array, is message from notification, the message dot split, and the one thing that separates my data is the hash. So in tokens 0 will be my message, new product on the market. Tokens 1 will be this 1 new memory stick. Tokens 2 will be 2 and 1 terabyte storage. And tokens 3 will be 3 USB. Okay, so that's just getting all the tokens there. If you want to do something like this, obviously if you don't want to do something, you just want to get the message, then that's your message. That's the message that was sent through using the notification. Okay, so from mine now, I basically want to say this part is my message, new product on the market, and then this is some extra information if the user wants to look at the extra information. So I'm going to say that part is actually my message. So I'm going to just declare a new string here called message. And then I'm going to say tokens, and that will be at position 0 in my tokens array. That will basically be the spot there that says new product on the market. Okay, so now I've got my message, and now we can start building our notification. So basically what happens, this Backendless custom receiver receives that message. It handles, or it runs the on message. We get the ticket text, the content title, the content text. We get the message, and we break up the message so that we can actually use it. So now what we need to do is to actually show the notification now to the user using this data that we've got here. Now, the first thing that I want to do quickly is to just create a new method here. And this method, I'm just going to copy and paste this method now from a working example that I have. And you can see the import classes there, android.graphics.color, os.build, and then the support version 4 notification compat. Now, basically what we've got here is a method that will help us that if the build version of the phone is currently higher than or equal to Lollipop, then we'll set the background color of our notification, our icon, to blue, and then show the icon. And if it's not, we will just show it as it is. So let's just create that beach quickly. So we're going to go to resources and you're going to say new vector asset. And let's go down a bit. Let's use this one, beach 1. And I'm just going to call that one beach as well. Say next, finish. Now if we go to drawable, you can see there's beach. And the only thing I want to do there is to basically make it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for the F, for the full color. And then if I go back to the custom receiver, you'll see there that we've got the umbrella picture. Now this picture should actually show white now. Not sure why it's not showing. Let's save quickly. Okay, but in any case, it should show white there now, but I'm sure as we run it, it should go to white. Okay, so now this method, get notification icon, will pass in the notification builder that we're going to create now, and it's basically going to set the picture in my notification. So you'll see if we run the notification now, you'll just see that Android guy there, and you can see the background is gray. So what we're essentially doing here is to set that background color to blue and change the picture to something else. Okay, so this is if you want to do something like that. If you want to keep your own icon, your application's icon for the notification and don't want to change it, then this is not necessary at all. Okay, so now let's create this notification. So in order to create the notification or to build the notification, we're going to use notification compat.builder. Let's just call it builder, notification builder, equals new notification compat.builder, and you can see there it is already. And then we need to pass in the context. So you'll see as part of the onMessage method, we've got the context there. So I'm just going to pass in the context, and that is fine then. This is now how we will build our notification. So I'm going to say inBuilder.set small icon. And now as the first argument of the small icon, I'm going to call that method at the bottom. So it's going to be get notification icon. And now I need to pass in a value. So I'm just going to say inBuilder, which is this object that we're currently building. And then I'm going to go to a new line and I'm going to set the ticket text. So setting the ticket text is basically the variable that we've got there at the top, which is the ticket text. Then the next one that I want to set there is the set content title. Set the content title, and the content title will be the content title that we have there. Let's just remove that semicolon there. And then we're going to set the content text. I'm going to set the content text there, and the content text will be my content text that I've got there at the top. And that's basically setting the ticket text, the content title, and the content text that we have there at the top. And then the last thing that we're going to set there is to set auto cancel. And I'm going to set auto cancel to true here. And then we can close off this whole builder. So basically what this set auto cancel does, it removes the notification if it gets clicked. If you don't have this there, it won't remove the notification when it gets clicked. So the next part that I want to do now is to quickly set the style of the notification. So I'm going to use the notification compat again, that class. And then I'm going to use the inbox style. So I'm going to say inbox style, whatever you want to call it. Let's call it inbox style equals new inbox style. And the inbox style that I want to use there is basically, I'm going to add no parameters there, which will then basically set a style as an expanding notification. And I'm going to show you now when we run it, how that notification basically expands. And then when it expands, we need to set the title for that expansion. So I'm going to say inbox style dot set big content title, and that should be the same content title that we had there at the top. If you want to have this something else now, you can change it here by setting it to something else. So basically what will happen is when I click and drag it like I'm doing now, that whole notification will expand and you can add a new title with new values there. So this is what we did now. We set the big content title. Now when that notification expands, you can add some more data there. So this is what I want to do now. If the notification expands, I want to add these three data. So the new memory stick, the 1 terabyte storage, and USB 3 should be shown only when it expands. So I'm going to test there if my tokens, which is the array of all my tokens, and I'm going to say dot length, if it's more than 1, then I know I've got expansion text. So if you have a look at this, let's say I'm just setting the message as new product on the market and I don't add some hashes there, then my length there would be 1 and it won't run this part. But in this case, I want to show then if it expands, new memory stick, 1 terabyte storage, and USB 3. So then I'll add this if statement there. And in the if, I'm going to run a for loop through the rest of the values. But now I'm going to start at position 1 because position 0 is already my message there. So I'm going to start at position 1 there. And that will be I less than tokens dot length I++. And then I'm going to go to my inbox style object there. So I'm going to say inbox style, and I'm going to add a line. So that's only when it expands, these lines will be shown. And then I'm going to say tokens I. So it will skip token 0 there and start from 1, which means it skips token 0, this one, and it displays new memory stick, 1 terabyte storage, USB 3. So that's the for loop. So I hope you understand how we created this inbox style now. This is when it expands, the set big content title, that will be the title, and underneath the title we'll have these lines. Okay, but now we've just set up basically a style. So in order for my notification to use this style, I need to go and say in builder, that's part of building this notification, and I'm going to call set the style. And the style should then be this inbox style. Right, and then my notification is basically built. So now we've got a notification that will pop up. And now the second part where we said that when we click on it, it takes us to the main activity. What if we want to go to a different activity? So we can do this using an intent. So I'm going to call this, I'm just going to say intent. Let's call this result intent equals new intent. And now we need to indicate where should this notification go. If we click on the notification, where should it go? So if the notification comes through, if I click on it now, where should it go? So obviously we only have one activity here. So let's just quickly create a second activity. So I'm going to say new activity, empty activity, and let's call it second activity. Okay, so the second activity is created. So basically what I want to do there is this intent should then help us to go to that activity when the notification gets clicked. So I'm going to pass in the context as the first argument, and remember the context we've got there as one of the arguments that was passed into the onMessage method. So I'm going to pass in there the context and then the class that you want to start. And I want to start the second activity. And then just remember to add .class there. So this is the intent. This intent will help start the second activity. And now we need to try and add that intent to our notification. But first, before we do that, what do we want to send to this second activity? So let's say you want to open up this activity and you want to display the data from that specific notification. So if you want to do something like that, you're going to say .put extra. If you don't want to show extra data there and just want to take him to that activity, then you don't need to use the put extra methods there. So I'm going to put extra, and remember the put extra methods receives a key and a value pair. So the key is what you'll name your data. I'm going to name the data title. And then the second argument will be the data. And that would be my content title as we retrieved it there at the top, content title. And then I'm going to say result intent dot put extra. Again, my second one there, let's pass in that whole tokens array so that we get, where's the main activity now? So if we pass in the tokens array, we get this whole thing, but in 1, 2, 3, 4 different parts. Right, so we're going to pass in tokens there. And then the next part I need to do here is to just build a task stack builder. So I'm going to use a task stack builder there, and I'm going to call this one stack builder, or whatever you want to call it, equals task stack builder dot create, and this creates now a stack builder for me. And basically what this will do, it contains an artificial backstack for the started activity, and this ensures that navigating back from the activity leads out of your application to your home screen. So if we go then from stack builder, on that stack builder object, we're going to say dot add next intent, and that's the intent that we want to run there, which is the result intent, and this is this one. Okay, so this is basically just ensuring that navigating backward from the activity leads out of your application to your home screen. Right, now in order for this intent to actually start, we need to use a pending intent. So I'm going to use a pending intent there. Pending intent, let's just call it result pending intent equals, from the stack builder, we want to use that next intent now. So we're going to say stack builder dot get pending intent. Now the first argument there is just a request code, so we're not going to use that request code now, so you can make it anything. And then the pending intent there's a flag that we want to use, and I'm going to explain this flag now. And the flag should be update current. Now what does flag update current mean? This is indicating that if the described pending intent already exists, then keep it, but replace its extra data with what is in this new intent. And then basically what we want to do now is to obtain a pending intent for launching the task constructed by this builder so far, which is launching the second activity. Right, and then we're going to go back to our end builder, which is basically our notification that will be built. And we're going to say end builder dot set content intent. And the content intent that we want to set is this result pending intent. So basically what the pending intent does, it will just hang around and wait for a notification or something that launches it. And as soon as it launches, it will run this result intent, which will run second activity.class. Okay, so we're basically done now with this whole notification part. So one thing that you can add, so this is optional if you want to add this, and this is by just going and saying endbuilder.set full screen intent, and then I'm going to say result pending intent, comma false there. So basically what this thing does now, this specific set full screen intent is an intent to launch instead of posting the notification to the status bar. And you'll see if I hover over it, let me just click on it there, it says that this is an intent to launch instead of posting notification to the status bar, only for use with extremely high priority notifications demanding the user's immediate attention. And you'll see when we run it now, that's basically an intrusive type of notification that pops up over everything on the screen and shows at the top, so the user can't miss it. So this is if you want to do something like that. So I'm going to leave it there to show you, but if you leave this out, it will just be in the notification bar, not intrusive at all. Right, so now our notification has been built. We've set up all the pending intent and how we want to have that thing look and the style and whatever. So now we should actually get to the notification manager of the phone to send out this notification. So I'm going to use the notification manager class, and the notification manager class will help us to send this message now as a notification on the phone. So let's just call this one notification manager equals, and you need to cast this to a notification manager, and then we're going to call context, which is the context that was passed through, dot get a system service for me. And the system service that we want to get here is context dot notification service. So let me just take this to a new line there. So basically we're saying we're going to get the notification manager, and that is by calling context.getSystemService. Which system service do we want to get? The notification service. So this notification manager will help us now to set or send through this message. Now, as part of this notification manager, how it will help us now is to just say .notify. And notify basically means it's now pushing through this notification that came in the way that we want to show it. Now it pushes it to the notification bar at the top. And you'll see now that it accepts an ID there. So you can make the ID anything. That's just a unique value so that you are able to later on update this notification if necessary. And then for the last part there will be your nBuilder object, but we need to build it now. And that builds your whole notification for you. And then we'll just go and say return false there. So returning true here will still let your onMessage method do exactly what the Backendless guys wanted it to do. By setting here false, it cancels what they wanted to do, and it's doing what we want to do here. Okay, so that's it for creating your own service there, which is the Backendless push service. But now this Backendless push service won't work correctly until you add it to your manifest file. So you'll see there for the service there, I want to now use the Backendless custom receiver there as the service that we're going to use. But now the receiver there is a Backendless broadcast receiver. So we've got our service that should run and do the whole thing for us, but we still need our own receiver there. Now in order to create this receiver, it's actually very easy. So we're going to create a new class quickly, and we're going to call this one, you can call it whatever you want to call it. Let's just call it my push receiver, or notification receiver, or whatever you want to call it. And this one should say extends Backendless broadcast receiver. So if you look at your manifest, you can see that that is a Backendless broadcast receiver. So we're extending that class there and creating our own one now. Right, so the one thing that you need to have there is to go to override methods, and you'll see there's a get service class, and you're going to say okay there. And you can see there the service class that we want to return here is this custom class that we created called Backendless custom receiver. So we're just going to say there, just get back to that part, Backendless custom receiver, and that's the class that we created, and you just add your dot class there. So basically what's going to happen now, if I take this my push receiver now and go to the manifest, and I'll say that my receiver here should be my push receiver. So when the new message comes in, you're sending a new message, it goes to this receiver, my push receiver. It goes into this part there, and it gets the service class, and this is the service class. So then it will run Backendless custom receiver, which is this one of ours. It goes into the on message. We retrieve what we want to retrieve. We create our notification. We set the pending intents and so forth, and we notify, showing it to the notification area of the phone. Okay, so let's just quickly try and run this and see. Let's see how it runs. Okay, so let's send a new push notification now. It comes through. There you can see my umbrella with the blue background. Can you see this intrusive type of notification now? So in your coding, that's basically this full screen intent. So if I comment this one out there, it won't set the full screen one, and you'll just see it there at the top at the notification bar. So this is the intrusive one. Now have a look at, if I click on it and don't hold it in, but you can see there's my notification. Let me just try and make it smaller again. There you can see my notification. There's the title, new product available. the all new memory stick. If I move it down, you can see that it gives me those three options now. Okay, so let me just remove this notification quickly. Let's send a new one. Let's send the push notification. It comes in. There's the intrusive one. Even on the intrusive one, I can expand it. So you can see there's a title and the content. Well, it's the content title and the content text showing. But if I move it down, it starts showing my message there, basically. A new title at the top, which is still new product available, and then those three values. So that is basically that style that we set to have it an expandable type of notification. And now when I click on it, you can see it takes me to the second activity. But now nothing is shown on the second activity. So if you want to show something on the second activity, let me just, I'm going to use this palette now. Just make it a bit smaller there. Okay, so in the text part, I'm going to change this quickly to a linear layout. And I'm going to set the orientation to be vertical. Right. Why is it this big now? Let's try and get it a bit smaller. Okay, there, a bit bigger now again. Okay, so let's just drag in one text view there. I'm not gonna spend time on the layout here. So I'm just gonna call this one TV message. And let's go into the second activity and set up TV message quickly. So it's gonna be a text view. And I'm gonna call it TV message. Okay, then TV message equals a text view. And then find the view by its ID, and it's r.id.tv message, just to link it up. So now I've got a link to it, and I can just call TV message.setText now. So now if I want to get the data that was passed through using that intent. Now remember Backendless custom receiver again. There's the intent that we've got. We've got data that's called title and data that's called tokens. The title is just a normal string. So I'm going to say string title equals get intent will now get me the intent that we sent through, which is this result intent. So get intent dot get string extra, and I need to basically just give it the name there or the key there, and it will return the value for me. So title is the key, and make sure it's exactly that spelling. So it's title, and that will give me the title. Then the next part is an array of tokens, and I'm going to get that by also calling get intent dot get string array extra, and the value there is called tokens, or the key is tokens, and it will return that array for me. So that's how you'll get the data that you want to display on this one. So there's the title. Tokens will contain what again? Tokens will be this whole array there, which will basically be what we've sent through in the main activity as this whole message, but broken up into 1, 2, 3, 4 parts. So we've got it there as well. Okay, so let's just add a string message there, and I'm going to set this message as basically being nothing. And then I'm going to first test again if this tokens.length, if the length are more than 1, just the same test as we did inside of the broadcast or the receiver, the system, the service class. So the if statement there just tests if the length are greater than 1, which means that we have more than one part there. Okay, so let's go back to second activity. And then just before this, we're going to set up that message. Well, let's just set the message there. So I'm going to set this message as title. And then I wanted to show the title quickly. So I'm going to show the title there. Then I'm going to show a new line character, which will take us to a new line in the text view. Then I'm going to show the message. I don't have the message yet. So the message will be in tokens 0. Then just add a new line character again, and again a new line character, and then I think we can go into this if statement. So this would be the message. if there's nothing else. But if the length is more than 1, we'll run a for loop for the rest. So I'm going to start integer I again at position 1 because 0 is my message. There's token 0 already. I'm going to say I less than tokens.length. Come on. Just remove that one there. And then I++ there. And then if in this for statement, then we're just going to say message should be message plus tokens I. And then let's just add a new line character there. Okay, so basically just printing out what is in the tokens or adding it to message. And now if we want to show that on the screen, I'm going to say TV message, which is the text view, dot set text. And the text I want to set there is the message. So let's see if this works. I'm going to run this quickly. Okay, so let's run this, send a push notification. There it comes through. I can expand it to see the rest of the tokens there. And if I click on it now, it takes me to the second activity. There's the title, there's the message, and there's the other 3 data values. So this is then how you can do your own custom notification and how you can redirect a user to a specific activity and show him more information if needed. And remember, you can add as many values or hash values there as you want, and you can retrieve all of them. So you can have a very big message, but the part that the user will see is basically just the title and the text, unless you go and create your own Backendless push service and then use it and go and say in your manifest, this should be the one that should run, and you create your own way of showing your notification.